It's Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. We are here for the Franklin County Board of Commissioners meeting. To ask that at this time I'll open the meeting and ask you to join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So having called the meeting to order, I will move on to the adoption of the current agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we remove item 6 from the consent agenda because we don't have accurate information on that yet, and before we pass it, I'd like to have a dollar figure attached to that item.
I'll second for the adoption of the agenda with the exception of pulling item 6.
With the exception of pulling item number 6?
Except for, as Commissioner Didier said, pulling it. Would agree with that.
All right, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. Public comment. Is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, please come forward, state your name. You have 3 minutes, and just as a reminder, no abusive or foul language. Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Kata Spenda with the Two-Tiered Takedown and a part of this community. HAPO Community Credit Union, HAPO Stage in Richland, the HAPO Hangout in the Toyota Center. I don't know if many people realize that HAPO Community Credit Union, what they do is they sell your promissory note to the Federal Reserve for an equal exchange of credits. The credits, so they take your note and they say, Mr. Federal Reserve, I want you to take this note. And they say, okay, great. They take the note with your original signature on it, and then they go ting, 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 and then a wire transfer goes into your account as the originator of that loan. And then all the bank does, all HAPO does, is they go ding, 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 ding. And then that gets transferred to the title company's bank account, and then the title company pays the seller. So at what time in that chain does HAPO pay anything? So they're able to purchase, a Hangout, the HAPO Center, the Stage. They've got all these banks after bank after bank. You know why? Because 100% of the funds delivered to the Federal Reserve is free money to HAPO. They pay nothing. In law, they are required to pay consideration. Consideration is banking under banking laws and security exchange laws. They are required to provide consideration for their loans. At what point did HAPO Community Credit Union provide any money towards any member's loan if they're getting 100% of the credits from the Federal Reserve? And then they use our law enforcement to create fraudulent orders that the judges don't look at the evidence of fraud. They just sign it. They're not financial experts. The judges, they won't even look at the evidence, and they're not even financial experts like I am. I can read financials. I did it for 2 decades. And I have the chain of title, the chain that shows what I just told you. HAPO Community Credit Union is committing fraud against every man and woman who takes a mortgage out. A mortgage is a death pledge for 30 years plus interest when the banks provide nothing, but they can kick people out of their homes. They create a homeless problem, and now we have a homeless solution to create all this homeless housing for the next 5 years. It's criminal. Shouldn't be.
Is anyone else in the room for public comment?
Hello, County Commissioners. It's Sherry Elizabeth from Red Mountain. Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm waiting for you all to ask your prosecutor to criminally charge Jennifer Johnson because she committed a felony while she was getting paid by you guys. She wasn't a pro tem judge. She was your risk manager. She worked in the prosecutor's office. I don't know how you'd feel if you had someone go in and cause you to become arrested 4 different times and impersonate, have an authority to do that, because it was wrong. And nothing can excuse what she did. And she needs to be criminally charged because that's the law. I'm the victim. I'm here in front of you. I can provide affidavit. I've got all of the documents. And she misused her position while she was a Franklin County employee. And I think that I'm entitled to, some kind of a discussion with you guys over this matter privately. It's not nothing that the public needs to hear. But the public could have been injured by her. There might have been another man or woman that had her do this, made her, she did this. And so I'm still suffering from it. So I'm asking you, 60 days later, after I turn that claim in on the record, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear that Jennifer Johnson's going to be charged. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room for public comment? Hearing and seeing none. Approval of consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 5 as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Administrator updates. Mr. Baumann.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Had a meeting this last week with corrections and appreciate all the work that they're doing over there. Met with our chaplain over there as talking about the program that he's been working on, and talked to the chief. It appears that they're having some pretty marked success with that, so thankful for all their efforts there. Went to the Mental Health Advisory Board meeting this last Thursday. They gave a kind of an initial report on the numbers within the facility, as the facility has recently opened and is ramping up to full speed. Appreciated getting that information. Also had a meeting with the CEO of Comprehensive Healthcare, as well as the Mental Health Advisory Board Chair, and had a very productive conversation with them. My question to them and the conversation largely surrounded what would Franklin County's partnership with Comprehensive and the Columbia Valley Center for Recovery look like, and had a lot of productive conversation of what that potentially could look like. I asked them if they would be willing to give us a draft based on their recently completed or signed operating agreement that they have with Benton County. And while ours would certainly look a little different, as we are not owners of the facility, they felt like that they could give us a draft to begin with, and so I was thankful for that, and so look forward to whenever we get that, to sharing that, and for you to be able to evaluate it, and evaluate that. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, that will be my report.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Didier.
Last week was a really light week, especially since I had the opportunity to take 4 days and have a vacation with my family. But got back, read Angie Manarola's update on this comprehensive health, and it looks as if that they are getting it up and running. And I'm trying to get to my note here, but she says Recovery Center opened July 20th through July 9th status. 100 clients served by 132 full-time staff in this time period. Parts of the recovery center are not fully operational yet, but soon, July 20th, completely open. Crisis relief, this is the 23-hour sobering wing with recliners for clients. 47 total clients served, 3 law enforcement drop-offs, 2 Kennewick Police, 1 Pasco Police, 2 Fire Department EMS. 23 of the 47 went into crisis stabilization, 3 straight to co-occurring, and I assume the other sobered up and left the facility. So they are up and running. It looks like they got plenty of staff now, 132 for 100 clients. Other than that, just the Capitol Press to report on here that Trump has lifted the anti-dumping tariff on Moroccan fertilizer. So it's coming into the United States to help the farmers, but Pacific Northwest fertilizer prices resume upward climb. And then another concerning as the drought strengthens hold on Idaho and Oregon. So we ought to be concerned of that and, you know, conserve your water usage. Be careful on the roadways. A lot of farm equipment are moving. That's the end of my report.
All right, thank you. So last week had the canvassing board meeting. Also had a meeting with the state auditor on entrance exam for the audit. And that concludes my update. Is there any correspondence this morning?
There is. It looks like there's a letter directed to the board. What's the name? From Ed Hoyle.
All right, any comments or questions on this? Or should we,
It would be my opinion that we should ask our building and planning director to evaluate this and bring us a recommendation or a
yeah, that would be my
Plan forward.
recommendation as well. We'll have to meet with Wes McCart on that. All right, any further correspondence? All right, thank you. Public comment, is there anyone in the room for public comment? If so, please come forward, state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marcy Torres from Franklin County. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to continue to come here. Yesterday, actually this whole week, I have been court watching, and it is heartbreaking how many men's lives are being destroyed. There's a lot of moms too, but I'm seeing probably about 60% of men's lives are being destroyed by false allegations from these attorneys. And, on Tuesday, I was actually court watching, and I met a gentleman who lost everything because his ex-wife decided that it was time for her to get a divorce, keep the house, keep everything. And upon doing that, Mason Pickett accused him of raping his own wife, to where they went in front of a judge, and the judge asked, "Is there any evidence of what we're saying?" And there wasn't any. So they couldn't charge him because there was never any rape. This man was crying. A 50-something-year-old man. Can you imagine being in his shoes just because someone bitter can't be a grown-up, can't go out and get her own job and provide for her kids on her own? Instead, she's going to take a man, ruin his life, his reputation, and accuse him falsely of being raped. That's not right. And there's tons of stories like that. I also did court watch yesterday in Benton County, and Mason Pickett was arguing about one of his clients and why his client is not complying with court orders for visitation for one of the children. And the commissioner told him, this is a court order and it needs to be followed. And he was held in contempt. And he was annoyed by it. So as you can see, the tricks that used to work are not working anymore. And it's because we've come here, we're making people aware of what's happening. And honestly, I pray that people would start seeing people like the humans that they are and look out for one another. This is disgusting behavior. Imagine you go through life doing all the right things for the people that you care about. And then imagine having to experience your own kids or grandkids being falsely accused. I don't think that's right. And I'm getting a lot of comments from a lot of people in this community that this has happened to. And a lot of judges are in on this. And enough is enough. I'd like to introduce to you guys my
is there
niece,
anybody else
Mia.
for public comment?
Hello everyone, my name is Mia Vireta. If you're still curious who I am, I'm Good at Girls Niece, and why I'm here to speak on how this whole situation has affected us. When I mean us, me and my sisters, I would like to begin by saying Julian was technically more of a brother than a cousin, especially to my older sister. I remember Julian and my sister, basically twins, looked the same, attitude, age, the whole deal. So you can expect when you can't see someone you were once inseparable with no more, you become depressed. Never in my life have I seen my older sister cry for so many days. It affected her so much to the point she thought she was the issue. And any time now she stares blankly at pictures of them together, missing all those joyful moments. For as I also cried, I had a heart full of anger, bursting out in class, talking back to my teachers, etc. I was angry. Julian had anything he wanted. and more. I just miss the person who would always convince Grandma to let us do stuff, the one who would help me build stuff. Hurts to think I was there for his middle school graduation, but he won't be there for mine. Secondly, I would like to discuss his father. The community is choosing to defend a man who pulls children's hair. During when I was 3 to 4 years old, the father and my Thea were together, and anytime he would come over, he would pull my hair and make disrespectful comments. The harm was so bad, my grandma would have to hide me in a bedroom. If that's the so-called man you want to defend, then that's on you. 2 quick messages. Julian, whenever you want to visit, don't be afraid to reach out. We love you no matter what. And one I would love to see her, Julie. And to Norma Rodriguez, thank you for ruining my family and taking someone we loved a lot away. I hope you open your eyes as to what you did.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
Morning, I'm Melissa Good. I'm a member of this community, and I'm going to continue on speaking about the situation that transpired with my daughter at her Kennewick school. So, violence had ensued. It had been instigated by a couple of kids that are in what's considered a, quote, protected class by law these days. This was due to race and due to, I guess you would define it as like gender identity or sexual identity or something. With these 2 kids, troublemakers known throughout the school. They had basically been given a license to just do what they wanted throughout the school for the most part, due to this, protected class situation. My daughter's father and I went down to the school the next morning after the violence had occurred and said, what's going on and how do we handle this? How do we protect our daughter? How are you going to protect our daughter? And we were told, well, these kids have gang affiliation. You might want to consider transferring your daughter out of this school for her own safety. And I said, well, that's huge. And my daughter is very stoic, and she's sitting there bawling in the office. I mean, this is a kid that you might see cry once a year, if that. And she's just sobbing, thinking about how she might have to transfer schools because these basically hooligans are allowed to behave however they want for the most part. So I said, well, seeing as how this incident happened in the parking lot, can you please make sure that you at least have a school resource officer with eyes on that parking lot? Because that's an isolated place for her. When she's arriving, when lunch, no, we can't guarantee that. We don't have those kind of resources. We can't say that we can keep a watch out for her. I said, okay. So I started thinking about where are the vulnerabilities? Well, the bathroom. What if she has to go to the bathroom in the middle of class and now this 6-foot-tall man can come into the bathroom, there's no cameras, someone texts quickly, well, she's in the bathroom, now she's isolated, she's alone, and there's no cameras to prove exactly what happened or who did it. She had to start using the administrator's bathroom for her own safety at school. These kids did end up getting suspended for a while, but very long story short, I ended up actually having to take this to court and get an anti-harassment order in order to get the situation remedied so that my daughter could just attend public school safely. What is going on where her basic right to just get an education that her parents are paying for? What's going on that she can't attend school just safely in an environment conducive to learning? She missed a lot of school at that point. She was very stressed out. And this is a laid-back kid. But she was afraid to go to school. She was afraid what might else transpire. It took me going to court to have this taken care of. What's going on with that? That's just not okay.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kat Espinda, 2-tier takedown, and part of this community. As you can clearly see, our children are not protected here. Did you ever think, because I assume, and I appreciate that you guys have been allowing us this platform, But did you ever think that the government that you serve has rules to prevent you from helping us? When you got into this role, I assume it was because you wanted to help people, the community. Clint, I remember seeing you, gosh, it had to have been 99 or 2000. You had a cowboy hat at the county fair. You guys have been doing this a long time. Our children aren't protected. This is an emergency. I served a petition for a redress of grievances to the Benton County, Pete Serrano, Eric Eisinger, to the Sheriff Department, to President Trump, to the bar, for the official judicial conduct. 11 mailings went out, certified mail. I got the green cards back yesterday. One answer from the bar. They didn't understand my petition. They don't know what it said. They can't read English, apparently, about the systemic corruption going on here. The rules of this government prevent you from helping us. Our children. Can you help our children here? They are getting trafficked right now in court. Any judges in here? Because if there were,
Only address the board.
pardon me?
You cannot address the audience.
I wasn't addressing to them. And Rocky, I know you don't like this. I feel it from you every time I come up here, and I'm sorry. But these are our children that are being trafficked. And, you give this attitude sometimes, and people's children are suffering. This is hard. Put yourself in their shoes, please. If a swear word comes out, it's because people are passionate, because children, right here, you heard it yourself. This is an actual example. Somebody's been harmed by Norma Rodriguez and what she does, and she's still in there doing it. If we're not watching, this is what they're doing. It's disgusting. And so our messages are getting out. I was at UPS yesterday, and she's like, oh my God, I see you're all over my Facebook. It's like, all right, good. But, we come here and we appreciate it, but, you got to give us a little slack here, because we, the people, are the ones you're supposedly supposed to be serving. And you guys, all of the nonprofits, but not the people.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
Andy Revis, Franklin County. Yeah, I appreciate the platform that we have here, and I know and I know we're getting out. I said talked last week about a guy that approached me at a place of business. Last week again, I had a guy say, Andy, I saw you, his words were, I saw you fighting with Bauman and Didier. I was like, well, I'm not fighting with them. But he saw me on the YouTube, and he's like, is this stuff really going on? I was like, no, I'm just making stories up. I'd stand up publicly and make a story like, no, this stuff does go on. He said, how do they funnel these kids through the foster system? I said, it's the same way that there's more drugs inside Coyote Ridge than there is out. I've sat with a guy that went through the Franklin County Sheriff's Facebook page and pointed out the ones that he had bought drugs from. We've got dirty people in the sheriff's office. We got dirty guards at Coyote Ridge. We've got dirty judges in the foster in family court. It all works together. And I think I've shared here before, but I'll share it again. I personally know a lady that her foster mom would turn the security cameras off so her pimp could pick her up. She was 15 years old. And then in the morning, he would bring her back and give the foster mom a cut of the money for pimping out a 15-year-old foster kid all night. This stuff goes on. It's real. And it's the children that suffer. I don't care about me anymore. I care about the children. And I watched in family court, their mode of operation is to wear you down physically emotionally, financially, until you have no fight left and you give up. And they want us to stop. They don't like us to keep talking. I made a commitment to myself that I would not stop talking for the other people that are going through this, because I got tired of it and wake up in the morning and have to go to court again. It sucked. And there's single moms that have to do it alone, have nobody. And if you would go to family court, you would see the people that are there. It's single moms. It's people that don't have the means, but they're still they have to take off work. They have to go to court. And just to sit in the courtroom while everybody else goes through, and then it gets continued.
Anyone else in the room for public comment? Hearing, seeing none. Is there any need for executive session today?
There is under RCW 4230-110-1I litigation. We'll need the board, clerk of the board, and Ms. Lloyd. I cannot be present for this one.
And time?
And time.
Oh, 10 minutes.
All right. So at this time, we'll go into executive session for 10 minutes. Thank you. Right? So we've come out of executive session. No decisions being made. Is there any other business for the good of the county?
No, sir.
Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.